Welcome back to the Buy Low Fantasy Sports Show with Mitch and Bam. I'm Mitch. He's Bam. Bam, say hello.
Greetings, everyone.
We're here today to talk about some breaking news just coming in. Mr. Andrew Luck is retiring from the NFL. Apparently, he alerted the Colts front office just a little while ago. They're supposed to have a press conference on Sunday, tomorrow, talking about that very subject. Bam, immediate reaction.
Well, this is it's going to be weird for the Colts this year. Jacoby Brisket, we affectionately call him. They're going to put a dry rub on him, smoke him at 225 degrees for an hour and a half per pound, and see if we can get a fantasy relevant quarterback out of him.
Nice. I like it. Sounds – you got my mouth watering over here, Bam, man. Come on now.
You know I like to barbecue, so I had to do that.
Yep. You like to throw that meat in the grill. I got you.
I'm a man that loves his meat, I tell you what.
That's right. So, immediate fantasy implications for 2019 Colts and the people on their schedule. What do you think the immediate results of Andrew Luck retiring are?
I think it takes the whole offense a step back. It depends on how they adjust their scheme and system. We know Jacoby Brisket played a good chunk of the year in 2017. He did pretty well, but that was under a different coach, different scheme, different personnel. Now the Colts have a really good offensive line. They have some weapons at wide receiver. They have Marlon Mack, and they have a much better defense. So I think this will be a team that, if they win some games, it'll be a lot of 24-21 type games. It'll be because their defense and running game and Brisket being a complimentary guy. He also has some rushing upside. And from what we saw from Brisket in 2017, wasn't really beneficial to T.Y. Hilton. That could change. He's in his second year of Frank Reich's offense like the rest of the Colts are. But he really targeted the hell out of tight ends. So he's got Ebron there. He's got Jack Doyle coming back. So I think your immediate fantasy impact is Marlon Mack takes a huge step up as far as volume if he gets that 3-down roll. And Ebron and Doyle are kind of the guys to target in the passing game there, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Brisket really has the arm to take advantage of Hilton's speed, just like Andrew Luck has done over the past couple of years. You see in 2017 when Brisket was playing, Hilton's numbers really suffered. I think his yards per reception went down about 2 yards overall, 2.5 yards, something like that, with Brisket playing versus Luck. So I think your outside receivers, of course, especially your deep threat T.Y. Hilton, I think he suffers the most from this news. And of course, if you've already selected Andrew Luck, you don't have another great option on your waiver wire. Pick up Jacoby Brisket right now. Don't stop, pause this video, go pick him up in your fantasy leagues because he's going to have a little bit of a fantasy impact. 2017, when he played for Andrew Luck the entire season, he made some plays, especially there was a couple of weeks where Bam and I used him in DFS, and he won us a little bit of money. And so Brisket is a guy I think that he can fill in for you. If, like I said, if there's nobody on the waiver wires, your quarterbacks are pick clean, maybe you're in a 2-quarterback league, Brisket's the guy to own. He has that little bit of rushing upside. The offensive line is awesome. They've really retooled that offensive line over the past 2 to 3 years. They've spent an awful lot of draft capital on selecting offensive linemen. They've made a couple offseason acquisitions of offensive linemen. Good young defense. I think Brisket, he just has to be a good game manager, not turn the ball over, make a couple plays here and there. For the most part, it's going to be get the ball in your playmakers' hands, let them do the damage. What do you think?
I agree with that. And I think you're right. He's going to be a good low price quarterback in DFS all year for cash games. He'll be a good fill-in starter in season-long leagues as well. But I also think it's important to talk about how we got here, how a 29-year-old guy is retiring from the NFL already.
Yep.
And if you look back in his early career, the Colts had this general manager, Ryan Grigson, bro. He's like this big bro general manager. I wear a suit, but I leave the top button because I'm cool. He
Yeah,
he didn't he didn't take
he's got a
yeah
mullet, right? Party in the
yeah he had a mullet, looked like
yeah.
a hockey scumbag,
Business in the
hockey
front,
hooligan.
party in the back. That's my kind
I
of
got a
football here in
I got
Alabama.
a mullet. Yeah, so bro Grigson there is like, whatever, bro. I got my shiny object with Luck. I don't have to protect him. So Luck just took a beating those first 4 or 5 years in the league, just a beating, and it was pretty brutal. And it's obvious it's taking its toll on him. He can't escape these chronic injuries, and it makes you worry about guys now who are in the same situation, like Deshaun Watson, who's just taken a beating his
Yes.
first 2 years in the league, and he's a guy that not only had a knee injury his rookie year, had a broken ribs and punctured lung
Ooh,
last year he had to play through.
yeah.
And if you watch any of the preseason tonight, the Texans' offensive line was utter garbage. They gave up 2 or 3 sacks in the first 2 drives, and the right guard missed a block on a defensive tackle, and the defensive tackle killed Lamar Miller. So Lamar Miller is probably done for the year.
Hey,
That's how bad this offensive line is.
I just got a breaking alert on my phone that says Texans fear running back Lamar Miller suffered a torn ACL. So
Yeah, he took a nasty hit because
yeah,
that defensive tackle had a full head of steam. Lamar Miller didn't even see him.
yeah,
That was nuts. So yeah, you worry about a guy like Deshaun Watson. You kind of worry about a guy like Baker too, who's in his second year of a bad offensive line. He's a little better at getting rid of the ball and throwing it up for grabs, so he takes a few less hits than Deshaun Watson. But it just kind of show you some of these young bro general managers. They like their shiny object quarterback, and they don't want to do anything to protect him. They're like, oh, let's just get some skill positions and some quarterbacks, and then we'll just whatever wing it, bro. It's like I don't know if anybody who works in any kind of business type environment, the business salespeople, they have that singular attitude. They just want to seal a deal. They don't care about execution or making the balance sheet look right. They just want to seal the deal, man.
yeah. We can absolutely do that for you, man. It's all good. Our people in the background, they'll do it all for you, man. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's kind of some of the with the younger general managers, especially. You see that attitude, and you kind of worry that some of these guys have gotten lazy and stupid because of all these rule changes to protect the quarterback. They forget like you still have to block for him.
Yeah,
That hasn't
you still
changed.
have to provide your own protection, right?
Yeah, whatever. Just figure it out, man.
But yeah, I
But yeah,
think
you do worry about. Uh, Hopefully, Luck just takes a year off and heals himself a year or two. He'll be 30 in September, so hopefully he can take a year off and come back. There's been a growing trend with players doing that a lot lately.
yeah, and
Anthony Davis from the 49ers, he took a year off, came back, was still bad, but it's not without precedent. A guy takes a year off, so I think Luck was just tired of dealing with Ursay being up his butt all the time about injuries, and then just the wear and tear of just taking a beating every year.
yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, and so um, I think they've recognized over the past couple of years, like I said, I think they've recognized that they need to get that protection for Andrew Luck, especially after he suffered that whole big injury in 2017, all that went on with that. Um, Even before that, though, he had missed a couple games in 2016 with, ankle sprains or with shoulder injury 1 week because he got sacked from behind, and so a couple minor injuries here and there that held him out a week or two, and then of course the 2017 season. So they've recognized that they have to protect him. So they've spent, like I said, over the past couple years, they spent a lot of draft capital on selecting those high offensive linemen, and so now this offensive line is really good. And so I think the offense can still be efficient, maybe not as great as they would have been with Andrew Luck, but I still think they can be efficient. And I just have to say, man, I hate it for Andrew Luck. I hope he is able to recoup, do what he needs to do to get right mentally, as well as physically. Because yeah, taking that beating like that over 4, 5, 6 years, that's got to take a toll on a guy. And so yeah, I hope wish him well. Uh, just wanted to kind of get our thoughts out there on the fantasy implications of his retirement. And so you kind of see
There's
now that
there's another thing to keep in mind too. Is I think the Colts season hinges on if their defense can become a top 5 unit this year. We saw them really improve towards the end of last year. They went into Houston and just shut them down. So if all those young players are healthy this year, they can improve another year in this 43 system they run, this primary zone system. They got a lot of young talent. You got a lot of young pass rushers. So if that defense becomes a top 5 unit this year, Briskett's a game manager. Mac is able to kind of step up and assume a 3-down role and really excels in it. That will be the keys to success for the Colts. Otherwise, they're going to be yet another team. We've seen this over the last 5 years where a team's hot, makes the playoffs, and the next year they're not in. So this could be another one of those teams that doesn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Did you want to speak anything else on the Andrew Luck retirement situation before we wrap it up?
No, just to sum up, Colts defense is the key. Briskett's a good game manager, cash game quarterback this year. Mac, if he solidifies a 3-down role, is the guy you really want to own. I think this bumps up his ADP a bit. Yep. And stock is way down on T.Y. Hilton and up on Ebron and Doyle. I think that kind of wraps up the fantasy implications, if I can speak. Good God. Right. I need to retire for a year.
Right, we're just getting started, man. You can't retire.
Oh, man. My agent will talk to your agent. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up until I learn how to talk.
All right, we'll keep your salary consistent over that time frame.
Is it still going to be 0?
Yes, that's the plan.
Okay, dang it.
All right. We appreciate y'all tuning in. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at ByLowFS, our Facebook, ByLow Fantasy Sports. We appreciate you tuning in. Y'all take care.
Later.